We're really happy with the way the team's trending. Really played, Milwaukee's a great opponent. They always are, and Texas is playing at a high level. It's always good to have success, especially in our building. And we were really excited to see how we matched up against Milwaukee, and a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, but definitely I feel like we took a step.
And especially in that Wednesday game against Texas, you guys jumped on them early and often. I believe it was like 3-0 within the first 10 minutes or
Yep.
so. And that's sort of been an issue I've noticed early on, is not getting able to get those early goals. How much is that a difference maker when you get a play with that lead or that 1, 2, 3 goal cushion that you get there?
Yeah, no doubt. First goals are huge, and also how you respond after. We want to make this a really tough place to play. I know a lot of times we go into Chicago or Milwaukee when they have good teams. You're kind of start off right on your heels. We want to create that here. And yeah, even the last game, we fell down 3-0 in Milwaukee, and we found a way to keep battling, and we were in the game. So it's the process. Continue to learn and grow as a team.
And how have you guys found that rhythm in the past couple weeks? Now that you've sort of settled in, you're about a month into the season here, and now you got that rhythm of 2, 3 games a week, things like that.
Yeah. It's like any season. You kind of learn more about the players, and they get more and more comfortable. It's not to say that there's always ups and downs, and I'm sure we'll go through other learning experiences. But like I said, I really think collectively our team's played some really good hockey, especially the last 2 weeks.
And now you guys get ready for, I think, 5 and 8 days. What is that like getting the team ready, especially heading out east here for 2 of them over the weekend?
Yeah, it's always a highlight on the calendar when you can play teams out of conference. And, we haven't been, at least in the last few years, out east and go to, Hartford and Springfield, kind of where the American League started. Both awesome old school venues and teams that are desperate to get points. So anytime you go on the road and it's a new opponent, expect it to be a really good challenge.
I was going to say 2 new opponents, too. What have you really seen that stands out about them so far? And, 2 teams that are at the bottom of the division, how can you take advantage of that going into this weekend?
Yeah, like anything, you're gonna face teams that are desperate. Guys are trying to prove themselves. It's really early in the season. I know Springfield, they lost in the finals last year, and a couple of their better players are there. They have a couple other dangerous players that have had a lot of success at this level and the NHL level. So I think the moment, if you think a game's going to be easy, it's going to be really an uphill battle. So our guys will be ready to go, and we'll come in with a humble approach.
And what is that approach when you go up against teams, when you obviously face a Milwaukee or Chicago, them, you're familiar with them, but when you go up against a Springfield or a Hartford that you don't see that often, what's that challenge in sort of preparing for that?
I think you got to oversimplify, especially early. It goes back to respecting your opponent, especially on the road. These teams are going to be really hungry, no matter where they're at the standings, but especially a team that's desperate for points and for wins. So just being sharp, and a lot of it's, the play away from the puck, taking pride in front of our own goalie, limiting their chances, and then slowly, building confidence as the game goes.
We're going to talk to Dylan Secura here in a second. He had 4 goals over the weekend, I believe. What have you really seen out of his game so far as the season's been getting going?
Yeah, Dylan's been an awesome addition. I can't imagine a guy that has the pressure to put up points. And I know Dylan was wearing that pressure, the first 2 or 3 weeks. But one thing that he didn't let it seep into the locker room. Like, he was a positive. He's a really, a leader by example. And we knew it's only a matter of time, but it's awesome to see a guy like him get rewarded. I think that's a luxury of our team. We have a lot of depth at scoring. If one guy's not clicking, other guys can pick him up, and we're only that much better when Dylan's going.
We talked to him a few weeks ago right here, and he had said since his first time in Rockford, he just felt a little more mature, and like you said, those leadership skills. What has impressed you the most about that leadership, not necessarily on the ice, but off and out?
Yeah, I was lucky to play with Dylan's brother, Tyler, too, and Tyler was a captain here, and I've never met Dylan. But, the first impression you see is he's really humble, especially his background. He was on a Stanley Cup winning organization last year. He got a ring. He's had a ton of success here, and I was just really impressed, the last 2 or 3 weeks, how he didn't let his own personal game come into the locker room. He's a guy that's encouraging other guys and still working at his craft. It's a long season, and I think he's a big piece of this. And, I think that's a huge testament to his character and his leadership, to put the team first.